As we approach the quieter portion of the NFL offseason leading into OTAs and training camps, the optimism surrounding the New York Jets is continuing to build. On paper, their offseason has been a success, with major improvements to the offensive line through the addition of Morgan Moses, John Simpson, and Tyron Smith, while also using their 2024 first-round draft pick on Olu Fashanu out of Penn State. Joe Douglas has also brought major reinforcements to the wide receiver room, with the addition of Mike Williams via free agency and Malachi Corley in the third round of the draft. It really seems like Douglas has filled almost every hole that was remaining in the Jets following the 2023 season. The sky could be the limit for this team in 2024. But what happens if this season is another repeat of the past 13? We are staring down the barrel of year 5 for Joe Douglas and year 4 for Robert Saleh. A successful playoff run for the Jets, and we'll almost certainly be talking about potential extensions for both men. However, if this season proves to be a massive failure, where does that leave Douglas and Saleh? Both men would clearly be out of the job in New York, and their NFL career could also be in jeopardy. Joe Douglas' first year as Jets GM was a holdover year with Adam Gase and Sam Darnold, a head coach he did not hire, and a QB he did not draft. As the season progressed, there were rumors that both Adam Gase and Darnold would be out of New York in 2021. This proved to be true, and Joe Douglas got to hire the ideal head coach and draft the QB of the future. These two decisions were without a doubt the biggest of his career, and he used them to bring in Robert Saleh and Zach Wilson. As of right now, the quarterback selection has proven to be an unmitigated disaster, and the fans are split on Robert Saleh. Saleh may prove to be JD's only head coaching hire in his Jets tenure, and even though he has failed to produce a winning brand of football on the field, Douglas has stayed loyal to him. Why is that? Saleh was successful in rebuilding the Jets defense, but he has failed to bring the right coaching staff to develop an effective offense. His selection of coaches has been head-scratching. His first choice for offensive coordinator, arguably the person who had the greatest impact with their rookie QB, was Mike LaFleur. After LaFleur failed to develop Zach Wilson, the Jets turned to Nathaniel Hackett to entice Aaron Rodgers to come in. That plan proved to work out, and Rodgers came to New York, but shortly after, as we all know, Rodgers went down with an injury, and it started to become very clear why Hackett's Denver team was so bad. Hackett is great at designing an offense to be led by one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, but if Rodgers isn't the quarterback, it's almost like he has no idea how to call plays.
What are you looking for from Aaron during these OTAs and minicamp?
Just for him to get reacclimated with his teammates. I know he had some at the end of last year, but for him to push the envelope, continue his rehab, he has no restrictions, and he looks good, man. The arm talent obviously is still there, but it's really just reacclimating to everything, and we're trying a bunch of new stuff too, and it's just trying to evolve within the offense.
Robert Saleh thus far has proved to be nothing more than a defensive coordinator in over his head as a head coach in the league. It's obvious that Saleh has a great eye for talent, specifically on the defensive side of the ball. But if the Jets fail to win football games in 2024, Saleh will be back on the job market. But this time, he will be hard-pressed to ever find another head coaching job in the NFL. Saleh has proved multiple times now that he can design and lead a dominant defense. While a lot of props should also go to Jeff Ulbrich for his work, he still has proven to be a defensive mastermind. Because of this, I am confident that Robert Saleh would easily find himself a defensive coordinator role in 2025, should he fail with the Jets this season. Now, going back to Joe Douglas, his rise to general manager level in the NFL came after years of working alongside some of the best GMs in the league, from Ozzie Newsome in Baltimore to Howie Roseman in Philly. Douglas's time as GM has been far from the level of success seen by those counterparts. Over the past 5 years, he's had moments of greatness. His two best achievements as GM have been acquiring Aaron Rodgers and the 2022 NFL Draft, where he turned 4 picks in the top 40 into budding NFL stars in Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner, Breece Hall, and Jermaine Johnson. Outside of the 2022 draft, he has only hit on a couple of players. Think Michael Carter II, Quincy Williams, and AVT. Quincy Williams was a free agent. As a former NFL scout, you would hope that he would have a better eye for talent. We cannot expect a GM to hit on every single player he drafts, but he already has many guys that he's drafted who aren't even in the league anymore that he used high picks on. In contrast to his drafting abilities, Douglas is beginning to get a reputation of being a master trader in the league. He somehow always finds ways to get more for a player than we would ever expect. Prime examples would include Jamal Adams, Chris Herndon, and Sam Darnold. While it's still too early to trade them based on the impact, the recent trades of Morgan Moses and Hassan Reddick both have the makings of being great trades with a minimal capital impact. Saleh can't build a defense he wants if Joe Douglas isn't on the same page as him. Both Douglas and Saleh place a heavy emphasis in the trenches, but throughout Douglas's tenure as Jets GM, he has failed to promise to rebuild the offensive line. This season, Joe Douglas's job will hang in the balance on whether or not he has fixed that line. If the Jets can't keep Aaron Rodgers upright and healthy, it may prove to be very difficult to win games this season, which will result in Joe Douglas job searching come next summer. Unfortunately for Douglas, I don't believe his job search will be as easy as Robert Saleh's. While Douglas has had some home runs throughout the draft and hit big on some trades, he has failed to bring winning football to New York thus far. Failure this season raises the question of why Douglas stayed loyal to Robert Saleh. If the Jets can't win with this team, then clearly Robert Saleh wasn't the right guy to be leading them. Joe Douglas is relying on the experience and greatness of Aaron Rodgers to serve as the offensive leader of the New York Jets. He has placed his trust in the ability of Rodgers and Saleh to marry the greatness of the defense that's already in place with the potential of this new look Jets offense.
Why do you say there's pressure on you?
Well, I think if I don't do what I know I'm capable of doing, we're all probably going to be out of here. So
the Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh era of Jets football is hanging in the balance this season. There are only two outcomes. Douglas and Saleh have finally brought back winning football to New York, or their time with the Jets has proven to be nothing more than a continuing nightmare for us Jets fans.